Okay, so the last set of notes that we're going to cover for volume is on a triangular prism. And so I'm probably going to pop up some graph paper. Yeah, let's do some graph paper. And the reason for that is I'm really good, or pretty good, with the rectangular prisms, but triangular prisms are a little bit more tricky to figure out. Okay, so what makes a prism a triangular one versus a rectangular one? And just like that one song, it's all about the base, that's what it is. Whatever your base shape is, that's going to be the name your prism gets. So the funny thing is a rectangular prism had rectangle bases, but it also had rectangular sides. Okay, so it's hard to distinguish who's a base and who's not. But when it comes to triangular prism, there's actually no way that you can not know which two surfaces are called the base. Okay, so let's get a little definition down here. Triangular prism. And a triangular prism is basically a prism with triangle bases. Okay. Now, I am going to add something to this definition, and it holds true for all prisms. All prisms. So flat top, flat bottom, you're a prism, and all the sides are going to have this in common. And rectangular sides. So it wasn't just the rectangular prism that had rectangular sides. All prisms. All prisms. Okay, did I say that enough times? All. Got it? All. Sorry, I got a little noise going on in my phone. I want to turn it off. Okay, all better. So let's go back to the formula that we had written in our last set of notes, which is the generic one. Okay, and remember, big B means area of the base. So when I'm going to do the one for the triangle, so volume of a triangle, I'm going to replace base with the formula for the area of a triangle, which is 1/2 the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle. And remember, those values are the two parts that make up the right angle. Okay, if you have a right triangle, it's going to be two sides. If you don't have a right triangle, it's going to be something inside the shape that actually is not part of the figure. You're going to kind of dash it in, all right? And then we're going to have the height of the prism. So from one base to the next. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this notion over here. All prisms. I didn't think it was enough. I said it like 6 times. I'm going to write it now. Have rectangular sides. Okay. Now, the number of sides a prism has depends upon the number of sides that its bases have. So, for example, with a triangular prism that has 3 sides, there's going to be 3 rectangles separating the one triangular base from the other. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So this is going to be the formula that we're going to use when we are calculating the volume of a triangular prism. So I'm going to draw a couple of them, and I'm going to highlight what the bases look like. So you're seeing, as I'm doing this, how I'm creating it. Okay. And then the bases would be these two guys. Okay. And then the height of the prism would be separating the two triangles from each other. Okay. So that's one way. Now I'm going to show it basically the same one, but from a different orientation. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go boom, boom. And then boom. Okay, so again, there's your base, there's your other base. And there's your height. Okay. And then let's do, oh, these are always the hard one for me. Okay, we're going to do it kind of at an angle. So basically, I'm going to make everything kind of the same length. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the other side is kind of caught up in this picture that he's actually kind of here. And then we've got, let's see. Okay, I know that's, see, I'm lame at these. Even with drawing, I still am lame at these. Oh well. Okay, and then let's do one that makes more sense to me. So this guy, you'll probably recognize. That's, I'm just going to write lame drawing. All right, let me get one more in. And this guy, I'm going to start at the front. Let's do, so, and then we've got, okay. And then, so this, let's see, get his bases colored in. So the bases are in the front and the back. The others are top and bottom. So some things that occur in your world that are rectangular prisms would be things like a wedge of cheese. How about a piece of cake or pie? My favorite is the Toblerone candy. And then that far one is like a tent. Okay, so those are tent. Let's try that again. Tent. So those are just some examples that where things exist. Oh, and I need to color in. Here's my height. It would be here. And then this would be a height. Anything that separates a base from a base. Now, this should be about half of your first page. And again, I'm so lame at drawing these. I'll try better on the next ones. And so then we have a couple of examples. In fact, we've got a total of 3 examples. I'm not sure if we'll be able to fit them all on this page. Oops. But we'll see. Oops, maybe if I go back to black. Sorry, slow today. So we have find the volume. We'll do 2 of those. So the first problem that looks weird. Oh well, I'll just deal with it. I'm gonna go. Oops, he went a little too long. And then we're gonna go connect, connect, and then we'll have okay. And so what I need to do is find a base. I'm going to choose just to look at one of them since they're the same. So I'm going to look at this guy, just the top. Okay. Now, there's some information I need from that guy that will be given to me, and that would be how tall is that triangle. And we're going to make that 3.5 meters. We're going to need to know the length of the base that that height intersects with. And then we need to know one more piece of information, and that would be what is the height of the prism. So we have 2 heights. Actually, let me color code this first guy a little differently. We'll color code him something else. We'll make him 3.5 meters. Okay, so my formula is volume equals 1/2 little b little h times big H. This is why I separate them, because the little h is the height of the base, and then the big H is the height of the prism. Okay, so I'm going to put my numbers in. So the base of my triangle is the red 4. The base of my, or the height of my triangle, the height of my base is 3.5. And the height of my prism is 7. So I have 1/2 times 4 times 3.5 times 7. So I'm going to do some math, and I'm going to start with, sorry, got some random dots going on over here. I'm going to take 1/2 of 4 is 2. So I've got 2 times 3.5 times 7. So then I'm just going to multiply in order. 2 times 3.5 would give me 7. That gives me 7 times 7, and I get 49, and the label would be cubic meters. Okay, so the volume is 49 cubic meters. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do more of a tent one. So I like to start mine in the front. Oh my goodness, my tummy is gurgling. I hope you aren't hearing that. Boom. 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 And then we're going to go boom, boom. Oops, that's erased. Let's put that back in. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now, let's get some information in here. Again, I'm going to do the base of my base is 7 yards. The height of my base is 8 yards. And the height of my prism is 10 yards. Okay, so I start with my formula. V equals 1/2 base of the triangle times height of the triangle times height of the prism. And I just start substituting in. So I'm going to multiply by 7. And then I'm going to multiply by 8. There's the 2 parts of my triangle. And then I'm going to multiply by 10. Okay, and so then I'm going to take 1/2 of one of these. I'm going to take 1/2 of the 8. I don't like taking 1/2 of 10s because I like to multiply by 10s. So that gives me 7 times 4 times 10. So I just do order of operations, and I get 28 times 10, and that gives me 280. So the volume is 280, and this time it would be cubic yards. Okay? All right, and then the last one is finding a missing dimension. So we're going to find the missing dimension. And I think the same thing with rectangular prisms, it's going to be the height of the prism that's going to be missing. Okay. Whew. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this guy. I don't like that. I'll try that again. And then we're going to go. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's probably the best one I've done so far, with a where you can see the 3 rectangular sides. I forgot to highlight him. And let's use the, where do we want to use? Yeah, we'll do it on the back, because I haven't been doing the back. And just to let you know, you should know by the way I drew it, these are right triangles, okay? So it's going to be those 2 sides that are actually going to be what I need for the shape. So I'm going to just write my numbers in the back side, okay? And again, don't trust the numbers, what they look like, the drawing, I mean, trust the numbers, okay? So let's start with the base of the triangle. The base of the triangle, that's going to be my red. I forgot what color I was using. So my base is 1 centimeter. My height of my triangle is going to be 3/10 of a centimeter. And then the height of my prism, we're just going to use H. And then we're going to tell you that the volume is 12 cubic centimeters. Okay? All right, so we start with the formula. V equals 1/2 little b little h times big H. Now you don't have to distinguish, but if you use the same little h, then it's going to get a little bit confusing. So we substitute in 12 for the volume. 1/2 stays 1/2. The base of our triangle is 1. The height of our triangle is 0.3. Oops. I don't know where that color came from. 0.3. And then we don't know what the height of the prism is. Okay. This one's ugly. So I'm going to do a little bit of math off to the side. Actually, I'm going to do things a little differently. I don't like having fractions and decimals, so I'm going to get rid of the fraction. Remember this from the way back when we were doing equations. I can multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the fraction in order for it to go away. So then that gives me, I'm in 24. And then I get 1 times 0.3 is 0.3h. So then I'm going to go ahead and I guess, oh, I forgot to color this guy in. We were talking about that one. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 0.3. And off to the side, I'll do the math. Decimal has to move over once, fill in the gap, bring up a 0, or bring up the decimal point. So 3 goes into 24 8 times evenly, but there's this extra 0, so I need to bring it up. So I get h equals 80. Okay, so then we would say the height of the prism is 80, and it would just be a normal unit because it's only got one dimension. Okay? All right, and there you go, guys. Have fun with this. See you later. Bye.